Okay, I'm here with Nori. So, Nori just completed a 3-month intensive healing work with me. And I wanted to start just asking you, Nori, before making the decision to work with me, give us a little picture of like what was your reality? What kind of health issues were you dealing with? Anything
Mm,
that is notable.
yeah. Um, I'd been through the war, so to speak. I got myself through the black mold toxicity. It's been 8 years now. And then COVID and some injuries, so I got myself through all that, but there was this underlying residual heaviness, just like density in my body, this overarching feeling of unwellness. I could never quite get over it. I could never quite have a great day. It was always like this underlying current of discomfort, of dis-ease with still a lot of pain, because I had that back injury.
And then you came across my work or my community or something, and something resonated for you around whatever message I was saying. Could you say a little bit about that?
And with that was just just like a flatness in my personality. My energy level was just like dragging myself through mud all the time. And having done a lot of work, I knew that it would take a special person for me to work with because because I have done a lot of work, and there's a lot of people that are great out there, for entry level things, but I wasn't entry level,
Sure.
so that's pretty much where, and of course, energetically, the situation in my life was reflective of all that, where I lived and my friends and my people who didn't became not my friend. And yeah, so it was a real global weight, just over me in general.
And then you came across my work or my community or something, and something resonated for you around whatever message I was saying. Could you say a little bit about that?
Yeah, and I can't even tell you exactly what it was. And historically, this is the way that it's always been for me. When I see my teacher, I know exactly at that moment who it is. I just I'm like, okay, finally, thank you, they're here. But there was something about you that really resonated with me this time because I'd been through some other work with people who their way was really hard, like a no pain, no gain kind of
Mm.
um, thought process, if you will. And there was something about you that I could just tell that there was a deep compassion that I knew that I would be free to do the work with, because a lot of, deep and personal things come up and came up. And I just knew that your personality and the depth of your knowledge was exactly what I needed.
Share with us a little bit what it was like for you, the actual experience of um, getting coached in those sessions. What was it like, that experience of that, but also you had the qigong to support you, and obviously that you mentioned the dietary support as well. How
Yeah.
was that once you joined the program?
Yeah, it was better than I thought because, as energy works, when I began working on myself, a lot of things changed and some things changed tumultuously. So during the time when it was so painful and that I couldn't really talk about it, I couldn't give words to it yet. there was the practice and there was the videos, and that was so healing. It was healing in a way that I could heal during that time. Like I wasn't ready to talk about it. But just having the practice there was amazing. And there were times where I really found respite in the practice, when the way that you would coach the postures. And there was one time when you said, like really get in deep, like the fascia by the bone. And literally, I mean, I've done a lot of exercise and fitness stuff. I could actually feel the change. I could feel the muscles pulling away from my bone. And,
Mhm.
um, having that experience, of course, took me out of the mental pain that I was in. And it was just the perfect offering, to have the diet and the movement and then of course to have my sessions with you. Yeah.
What were the sessions like?
The sessions were surprising. Um, because I thought I thought that they could be really heavy and um, maybe messy. And I knew that that would be okay if they were that way. But your way is so exacting that I was able to get straight to the core of what it was without having to tell a lot of the story or getting into a lot of superfluous emotion that really wasn't necessary. It was almost as if the emotion was being taken care of during the qigong.
Mhm.
And then when I had my sessions with you, I was able to just get right to what I needed. So the sessions were gentle and loving, and I can't say that they were painless because the topics were painful, but they were so much easier to integrate than I thought they might be.
Great. And
Yeah.
then,
Yeah.
if you don't mind sharing a little bit, Nori, like having gone through this process, what is different for you now?
Everything is different for me. Of course, that pain that I've had for 25 years, that there was nothing, I had needles stuck in it. I had laser, the movements that I could do, the stretching, nothing would make it go away. And one day during one of our sessions, it literally just fell out. So that is forever gone. I know, and that is amazing. And that is truly amazing. But there's also a spiritual and an internal lightness now. I'm really so much more clear on who I am and what I believe in,
Mhm.
um, that some of the day-to-day things, like little interactions with people that would trigger me or annoy me, they are so much less and less because of the clarity that I have. And it's almost like I spend my day, kind of having an overview of what's going on, and I don't get pulled into things that I used to get pulled into that would waste my time and my emotion. So that's wonderful. And I have more structure to my day. I use different parts of my day very intentionally now. And interestingly, my food is so different. I mean, I never thought my love affair with coffee would break up, and it did. Like, I never thought that could happen. But when I was traveling, I was craving, many of the foods that I have grown to love now, especially, the beans and rice
Mhm.
and that's now a staple in my life. And I've noticed that the ridges in my fingernails are gone.
Really?
My skin looks different. A lot of the inflammation, the redness that I had is much less. So
Are all
yeah.
signs pointing that the quality of your blood has changed. It's a
Good
different quality.
point.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's wonderful because a lot of times, like I don't know how people view it, but it's like when we have this kind of, I don't know, malaise, heaviness, like you were referring to, you've excuse me, you've done a lot of work, but there's still this kind of like heaviness that kind of pervades through your day. Um, that actually there's a manifestation of that in the blood,
Yes.
and that can be an infection, it can be toxicity, it can just be like we call it crappy blood, like it's
Mm.
just not good iron and good nutrients in there. But the fact that you have one the energetic uh like evidence of that, but then also you're seeing it physically in your body, your nails, your skin, like those are all really telltale signs that something significant has shifted out of the
Yeah.
system.
Yeah. I'm so grateful.
Yeah, me too.
Mhm. Yeah.
One thing I just want to say is about Nori is like I loved working with her because there was such a sincerity in her heart to do this work, and the way she would continually show up and be willing to meet whatever was there was incredibly inspiring. And it's not every day that I get to work with a client like that, so I was just it's like there's like a formula, inside that I hold, and it's like if the client shows up like you did and does the work like you clearly did, it's only a matter of time before the healing results to start happening.
Hmm.
I was so happy when they did for you. So
Thank you. Thank you. And when I chose to do it, my intention was to pretty much clear as much as I could of my life and clear the distractions because I knew things were going to come up, so that I could be present for it. But you made it really easy, for me to come and to show up every week and to, um, no matter how crazy it was, or it was little Nori from, a million years ago, um, you set the energy to make it okay, to do that kind of deep work.
yeah,
And so thank you. Mhm.
you're so welcome. And I can even remember, maybe it was like early on, like things in your physical world were really starting to get like turned over and shifting around, and I remember you even saying like, does this normally happen or something like that?
Yeah, yeah, it was like everything turned inside out. And I know, from having done energy work in the past, that when you begin to shake energy over here, it's going to shake back over here. And but this was big. This was an unearthing of many things, including people, places, and things. It all, it's like God took the snow globe.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like they say it's beauty in the breakdown, and I have to say it was just really beautiful to watch how you just allowed yourself to. I mean, we all have freak out in those moments, but like you trusted the process, and
Yeah.
that was quite amazing.
Thank you. You made it easy, really.
Last thing I wanted to ask you is, someone that might be considering doing this work that is a little bit like on the fence, like what's this energy work, this heart work that we do, you are the medicine, and qigong and all that. What would you say to them, if they are suffering with chronic pain or some type of debilitating sickness, or just a depression that they've been carrying in their heart for a lifetime? What would you say to that person that was maybe considering joining?
Yeah, I would say that I'll make it really practical. as a nurse for 40 years, in the ICU, I got to observe, and although patients were mostly comatose, I could intuit their emotional pain. And even back then, the patients who I would say daily to, use your prayers and use your self-love to make yourself better, they got better than the patients that I didn't say that to. So if this all seems like a lot of woo-woo, it's really, really very practical underneath it. And, and if they could just trust it, just for a little while, it begins to unfold and make sense that there's so much more going on than just what we're seeing, in our physical body. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Nori, for your sharing. This will, I know, just feeling into it is going to help a lot of people hearing your story because I don't know if it was the case for you, but when I was on my healing journey, I remember just like coveting testimonials of people that had actually walked through, like you have, like a chronic pain that you've been carrying for decades and it's gone like that. That is so inspiring. And I just want to again appreciate you and thank you for your time today.
And I do want to add this because it might help with the what seems like woo-woo to some people. I got that pain right around the time when my mother got lung cancer, and she was petrified, during her whole death and dying process. And even as a nurse, I did not do that process with her very gracefully.
Mm.
And there was more to that pain than just, a nodule or a balled up muscle or something for me. So I hope that people maybe begin to understand that some of what we're feeling in our body is not necessarily just cellular. And that's where the love comes in. That's where the you are the medicine comes in. And it's really true. So thank you.
So true, so true. And if you are someone that is interested in taking the next step, I recommend just like checking out the links below. And there you can book a call with me and we can go even further, just like Nori did on her journey. So thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Nori.
Thank you.
Have a blessed day.
You too.